Good morning. This is Miss Lee Russell. I'm calling from Primavera Online, and this class is a Business Math B overview. You should see on your screen the Business Math B overview slide, and you will not be able to interact during this teaching because it's actually a recorded session. So although you may see some cheating, um, you may see some people down in the bottom, they're chatting, and the documents that are listed there, those are going to be frozen while the presentation's going. You can come into an Adobe Live session at any time and access those documents. At the end of the session, I will stop recording and there will be time for chatting. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer the questions at the end of class. Okay, well, let's get started. I wanted to go over the Business Math B overview because every class start, I have students ask a couple of questions. They're curious, am I going to need Business Math B? I've already had Business Math A. And they also ask, why am I taking Business Math B prior to and having never taken Business Math A? So the answer to those questions are Business Math B is completely different than Business Math A. Okay, Business Math A is focused on your individual finances or finances as an individual. It has a very narrow viewpoint in the class. Whereas Business Math B is focused from a business standpoint or employer standpoint. So the finances and the math that we're going to go over in Business Math B is what we call a broad point of view, and it's from a business point of view. I'm a little bit biased, but I actually believe that these two math classes are probably the most practical math classes that you can use for your entire life. So I'm excited to be teaching them. I'm excited for you to take these math classes because these are actually math skills you will use for the rest of your life. Business Math A will contribute to your life as an individual, and if you go into business or work for a business, Business Math B will contribute to you in that direction. Excuse me. I have owned 4 different businesses, all completely different. Restaurant, children's clothing store, decorating, and a tutoring business. And all of them have used the concepts that are in the Business Math B class. So this will truly help you if you want to have a business, take it in. Because we did not have this class when I was in high school, and it can really help you if you want to have a business. Okay? First, I'm going to go over just a few of the concepts that are covered in Business Math A. The first concept is personal budgeting. We all need this. It is something that's very practical, and you're going to learn how to do a budget with your income and your expenses. So that ought to be very helpful to you. The second is you're going to learn about your gross and net pay on your paychecks and the deductions. So you will be able to look at your paychecks and calculate your payroll, if the hours you've worked and the overtime are computed correctly, and then you'll be able to subtract your deductions. So you will now know about gross and net pay. Probably the 2 biggest purchases you'll make in your life are your vehicles and your mortgage. So those are 2 other concepts that are covered. You researching and considering what type of vehicle you want to purchase and how to set up loan payment schedules and what those look like. And as far as the mortgage, you actually have a project where you will be working with 2 or 3 banks and finding out the different interest rates on mortgage loans and comparing those. There's also a portion of one of your projects where you actually compare, the benefits, the pros and cons of owning versus renting. And last but not least is insurance premiums. We all have them. So there's a project again and information on insurance premiums. So those are the basic concepts covered in Business Math A. Okay, in Business Math B, we're going to switch gears here. So now we're looking at business math from the viewpoint of an employer or a business owner. Okay? So it starts right out with costs that a business incurs if you're recruiting, training, relocating people from the business standpoint. Okay? Another thing when you own a business is you give cost of living raises in your payroll. You also give merit increases in payroll. So it's a way to calculate those. The cost of benefits looks a little more closely at the deductions taken out of paychecks, the Social Security, the city, state, local taxes that are taken out. Then we look at discounts. Everyone loves discounts because it uses percentages. So I am doing a specific presentation just on percentages, so you can keep track of how to move those decimal points and get those right answers when you're trying to calculate your discounts. We're going to look at different discounts as far as stock market trading, chain discounts, and then just the basic discounts on products offered. Okay, this next thing is, to me, a very, very important aspect of business. This is not something I actually can make a business successful or can create failure in a business. It's called price point setting. And basically it's determining where to set your price on your product or your service. You need to understand a little bit about supply and demand, your competitors, the cost of what your product or service, the expenses required with that. So this is a very, very important section to me, price point setting. A couple of things in a business that kind of happens in the background that a lot of people don't know about until they've opened a business is depreciation of assets. Depreciation of assets, basically when people usually find out about it is when they're getting their taxes done and they realize that they have to pay taxes on their assets. So as the assets devalue over the years, there's a certain way to depreciate that off your bookkeeping. Next is developing your own business plan. This is one of my favorite things in the class in Business Math B. There are 3 projects. It's project 3B, 4B, and 5B. And it is about developing your own business. This is a very simplified model, but this is exactly how you start a business. If you don't take the time to do this type of business planning, the chance of your business being successful decreases, shall we say. So I really encourage you to enjoy developing your business plan. They actually have it focused on choosing a healthy snack as your business. I've encouraged students they can do that. If they don't want to do that and they have another business plan they would like to work on for their own business, that is okay with me to submit projects on your own business. And I have had some amazing business plans developed with people that are starting businesses. So I look forward to seeing your projects for that area. This next concept, we understand the basics of it, but the actual calculations of it can be a little bit complex, so you'll want to spend a little time on this. The next 2, I think, are probably where I have the most questions, and that is markups and markdowns and how to calculate those. We all know what a markup is when you mark something up at a higher price or you mark it down. But again, we're using percentages because it's from a business standpoint. So it would be, all of a certain project are marked up a percent, or all the products are marked down a certain percent. So just know that this area may have to spend a little bit more time on. Okay? Different methods of inventory. This too I get a lot of questions on. It's just it's new business terms that we haven't used or heard. And it is beneficial. All businesses have to do inventory every year. It is required for their taxes. So is it something important to have an idea, a concept of what it is if you're going to own a business, especially a business with product? Okay? And last but not least, in your very last week of class, you will go over some basic foundations in economics. Gross national product, consumer price index, inflation and deflation, supply and demand. That will all be right before your final exam and for your project 6. This last slide, I've just included a couple of different video clips that I thought you might enjoy. Usually they're not, the longest ones I believe are 7 minutes that I've put in. They usually tend to be 3 to 5 minutes. So feel free to enjoy these video clips. You can see on the bottom left of the screen that I have uploaded all my presentations. This presentation is Business Math B Overview. It is the number 1. It's got a number 1 in front of it, so it is the first presentation I do in the class. So feel free to access those. You can actually download those while you're in Adobe onto your desktop. The other thing I have here in Adobe for you anytime you come into class is in the upper right corner. I have put together a project, Business Math B project file. So as you could see, each page lists the formulas that you need for the project. So as you can see on the one listed up above, Project 1B, at page 3, it lists the formulas that you will need for each of the lines on page 3. You are welcome to come in and copy and paste that. I also have it in the file folder on the bottom left. It's called Business Math B Projects. You can download that. It will be very helpful for you. The formulas for each lesson, you can find those in Activity 1, Keywords, and you scroll to the bottom and it's under Teacher Notes. So every formula that you will need for this class will be in that area. So again, I am glad to have you here in Business Math B. And yes, you can take Business Math B before Business Math A. And yes, Business Math B is different from Business Math A, and very practical. I think you will find the class very useful, and I think you will enjoy it. Okay, this concludes the end of this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording at this time, so the chat box will open. Feel free to ask any questions. This information will be emailed to all students at the end of the week. If you participated in class, I am marking participation down at this point. You will need to complete a short quiz. The links will be sent to this presentation also at the end of the week. You will need to complete the quiz and return it to me for participation points for the week. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this meeting, and I hope to see you in the Adobe room again soon. Bye-bye.